Good morning, students. Today we can learn about the lymphatic system. So lymphatic system, you already studied the general anatomy and all. So you will be knowing the components of the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system comprises of lymph vessels, then lymph nodes, lymphatic organs. So we will learn one by one. So first one is the lymphatic vessels. We can see these are the lymph nodes, small beaded appearance. These are the beads like structure. So they are the lymph nodes. So the lymph nodes, we can see between the lymph nodes there are small vessels. They are the lymphatic vessels. Okay. So the smaller lymphatic vessels join together to form large lymphatic vessels or large lymphatic trunk. Here we can see the trunks. Then these large trunks will again join into the large vessels. Finally ends into the largest vessel, that is the thoracic duct. So this is the thoracic duct. So mainly there are two large lymph vessels in our body. One is thoracic duct, which drains almost all the part of the body except right side of the head and neck region and right upper limb. It is drained by the right lymphatic duct. So these are the lymph nodes and thoracic duct. So today we can study about the thoracic duct. So this is the thoracic duct. We can see this green color, large vessel. So that is the thoracic duct. So thoracic duct is the largest lymphatic vessel in our body, and it extends from the upper part of the abdomen at the level of L2. You can see from upper part, this is at the level of L1, upper part of the abdomen, and it extends, passes through the thorax, and it reaches the neck region. Neck region crosses the posterior and superior mediastinum. Then it ends into the neck region. So that is the this white color structure. This is the thoracic duct. It has a length of about 45 centimeter. So 45 centimeter length. And it has a beaded appearance. We can see it is not straight. It has a beaded appearance because of the presence of numerous valves in the lumen. So here there will be numerous valves. Because of the valves, it appears as beaded in appearance. And course, the thoracic duct begins as a continuation of a sac-like structure which is known as cisterna chyli. So this is the cisterna chyli. So it starts from the upper end of the cisterna chyli at the level of L1. And it passes upward and it passes along with the aorta. It passes through the aortic opening in the diaphragm at the level of L2. T12, not L2. T12 vertebrae. It passes along through the aortic opening and reaches the thorax. And in the thorax, it passes upward up to the till it reaches T4 vertebrae. At the level of T4, not T4, T5 vertebrae, it crosses from the right to the left side. From right to left side. Then it goes through passes through the superior mediastinum. Then it reaches the neck region. Then pass along the side of the esophagus, left edge of the esophagus, and it reaches the neck. And at the level of 7th cervical vertebrae, C7 level, it arches laterally and crosses the subclavian artery, first part of the subclavian artery. Then it ends by joining at an angle at the junction of the internal jugular vein and the left subclavian vein. Here it joins the angle between the junction between the left internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. So that is the course. Starts from the cisterna chyli. It ascends upwards, passes through the aortic opening at the level of T12. Then it passes through the abdomen in the posterior mediastinum. Then when it reaches the T5 vertebrae, it crosses from the right to left side, and then it ascends upwards through the superior mediastinum near to the esophagus. This is the esophagus. Next to the left side of the esophagus, it ascends upward and it reaches the neck. And it reaches at the level of C7 vertebrae, a transverse process of the C7 vertebrae. It arches laterally and it crosses the first part of the subclavian artery and ends by joining at an angle in the junction between the internal jugular vein, left internal jugular vein, and the left subclavian vein. Okay, so that is the course of the thoracic duct. In this picture also we can see the thoracic duct, this green color region, this is thoracic duct. So this is our diaphragm. This is the aorta. So it passes through the aortic opening. It starts from the upper part of the abdomen here, then it ascends upward and passes through. This is the aortic opening. This is esophageal behind that. Okay, this one. So it ascends upward and passes through the aortic opening and reaches the thorax, and in the thorax it ascends upward till T5 vertebrae, fifth thoracic vertebrae. Then it crosses towards the right side. So it was like this before. Then it crosses to the left side, from the right to the left side. Then it ascends upward through the superior mediastinum. Then it reaches the neck region, and in the neck region, when it reaches the C7 vertebrae, it crosses, arches laterally. This is esophagus. So it ascends above through the superior mediastinum to the left side of the esophagus. Then it reaches the neck region. In the neck, it arches laterally and ends by joining the angle between the left internal jugular vein and the left subclavian vein. So here, like this. That is the thoracic duct. Okay. Then coming to the tributaries of the thoracic duct, you can see so many branches, the vessels are coming and joining towards the thoracic duct. Okay. So they are known as tributaries. Okay. We'll see one by one. So this is the formation. Here this is the cisterna chyli. The cisterna chyli is formed by the joining of the right and left lumbar lymph trunk. Right and left lumbar lymph trunk joined together to form the cisterna chyli, and the upper end of the cisterna chyli become the thoracic duct. Okay. And here we can see there is at the starting point there is descending thoracic lymph trunk can be seen. Descending thoracic lymph trunk. That is one tributary. Then when it reaches near to the end portion, here you can see the left bronchomediastinal trunk. Left bronchomediastinal trunk joins into the thoracic duct, and here a left jugular trunk. Left jugular lymph trunk, then left subclavian trunk. All these are the tributaries joins into the thoracic duct. So these are the main tributaries of the thoracic duct. That's the thoracic duct. Here we can see this is another duct. This is known as right lymphatic duct. Right lymphatic duct. So this right lymphatic duct, that will be this is the right lymphatic duct. So it drains the left part of the right part of the head and neck region. That is then right upper lip. So that is tributaries are the right jugular and right subclavian lymph trunk. Okay, joined together to form the right lymphatic duct. It also ends by joining in the junction between the right internal jugular vein and right subclavian vein. Here it will be joined. So that is the second lymphothoracic, the second largest lymphatic vessel. So these two are the large lymphatic vessels which drains all part of our body. The right lymphatic duct and thoracic duct. The next is the lymph nodes. Here we can see these lymph nodes are the beaded structures, bead-like structures which can be seen throughout our body. Throughout our body we can see the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes can be seen as group or as single. Okay, solitary lymph nodes or as group can be seen, and each lymph node. So this is the cross section of the lymph node. So this is a lymph node. We can see it is beaded in shape, and it has so many afferent vessels. So afferent lymphatic vessels which carries lymph towards the lymph node. Okay, these are the vessels which carries lymph towards the lymph node, and there will be a large efferent vessel which carries lymph from the lymph node, okay, to the another lymphatic system, lymphatic organs. Okay, so this is the lymph node. So it has an afferent vessels and efferent vessel. The substance of the lymph node is covered by a fibrous capsule. There will be a capsule, and the connective tissue, this is the connective tissue which surrounds the lymph node, and the structure is divided into an outer cortex and inner medulla, and we can see from the capsule arises septa. These are the septas. Then divides the substance into an inner medulla and outer cortex. Okay, the cortex contains, so this is the cortex. The cortex contains small rounded structures which are known as, sorry, that is not so this is this diagram. So here we can see this is the lymph node. Okay, so lymph node has an outer, there is an outer cortex. So this dark shade portion, this is the cortex, and there is a lighter shade inner medulla. So cortex and medulla, and the cortex contains small rounded structures. You can see they are known as lymphatic nodules. So lymphatic nodules can be seen. Okay, and each lymphatic nodule has an outer darker periphery, and there is an inner lighter zone. This is known as germinal center. Germinal center. Okay. So there is a darker periphery and the center, lighter center. This is known as germinal center. Okay. Then the medulla contains lymph nodes, lymphocytes. So here also all this blue color portions, everything is made up of lymphocytes. So here in the medulla also we can see lymphocytes are arranged in a cord-like manner. They are known as medullary cords. Okay, cord-like manner. Here we can see one cord, that is branched cord. Okay, so these are known as medullary cords. Okay. And the medullary cords can be seen in the medulla, and also blood vessels can be seen. Blood vessels can be seen in the medulla. Okay. Medullary cords and blood vessels can be seen in the medulla. Then there are sinuses can be seen inside the lymph nodes, just below the capsule. This is the capsule. Below the capsule we can see a space. This is known as subcapsular sinus, and in between passing through the cortex there will be cortical sinuses. Then when it reaches the medulla, there will be medullary sinuses. So through these sinuses the lymph will passes from the afferent vessels, and it passes through the cortex. Then it reaches the medulla, where undergo purification. Then after purification this again enters into the efferent vessels. Yeah, so these are the sinuses inside the lymphatic nodule. So lymphatic node, lymph nodes. Okay, so this is the histology of the lymph node. It has an outer cortex and inner medulla. Cortex contains lymphatic nodules. Each nodule has a darker periphery and inner germinal center. Okay. And cortex contains medullary cords. So in the outer periphery we can see thickly arranged mature lymphocytes can be seen, and in the germinal center there will be lymphoblast, immature lymphocytes can be seen. Okay. And here also we can see the lymphocytes, mature lymphocytes in the medullary cords. Lymphocytes can be seen. So that's all about the lymph node. And the blood aspect for the lymph node is, if there is any infections in our body, the corresponding region, the lymph nodes in the corresponding region will be enlarged. So if there is any infection in the neck region, so the lymph nodes in the neck region will get enlarged. And then the lymphatic vessels, the inflammation of the lymphatic vessels are known as lymphangitis. Then usually this carcinoma. So the area where carcinoma is there, the first symptom is the enlargement of the lymph nodes in that region. Okay. That's all about the blood aspect.